You probably recognize the spinning wheel from my giveaways on a live stream. They are so much fun, but they're also really challenging because I need to manage the live stream. I also need to copy and paste the names onto the spinning wheel and making sure I don't miss anyone, and also making sure there are no duplicates. So I thought, could we build something that makes this more efficient? Talking about efficiency, could we use AI to help us be more efficient when creating this? Is it possible? In this video, we're going to build a project using GitLab Duo with AI-powered DevSecOps workflows to help me select winners for my giveaways during my YouTube live streams. Have you tried GitLab Duo? I've added a link in the description below, so do go make sure to check it out. There are so many elements to GitLab's Duo, such as code completion. This is where Duo automatically completes the code for you and you decide to accept it or not. In fact, you can even write a comment or multiple lines of comment and it will suggest the whole solution for you with code generation. There's also code explanation. That's where Duo will describe and explain the code, which is super helpful when entering a new code base, or for someone like me who has terrible memory on code I wrote last week. And there is Duo Chat, where we can go even further by asking questions and even asking Duo Chat to refactor or generate tests for us. Using AI-powered DevSecOps workflows, this is what we will build. You can see here it's going through a list of potential winners and they're orange, and then it will land on a green one once it's selected the winner. I know what you're thinking. How do we get those names to be part of the competition? Well, we'll use an existing GitLab issue where people have commented to take part in the giveaway. And then we'll use Next.js to query this data from GitLab's API, and we'll use Tailwind to display the winner with some nice bright colors. But first, let's create a GitLab repo so we can have our tasks that we want to work on. So if we go to the plus at the top left and we go to new project repository, create a blank project, let's give it a name. We could say giveaway video. And in the group, it's going to go under my username. So I'll scroll to the bottom and say Eddie Jowd. The slug is fine. We're going to create it public and we're going to initialize with a README. And we're not going to enable static application security testing. So create project. Now we've got a project. On the left, we can go to issues and let's create some new issues of what we want to do. So the first thing we want to do is, well, we want to install the VS Code plugin, but I'm not going to make an issue for that. We'll do that next. But we will want to create a Next.js project. Then after we create the project, we will want to query GitLab's API. So let's create an issue for that. Query GitLab's API for comments on the issue. And then we will want to display those results. So let's make an issue for that as well. Display list of users. I think we will want to style that up. Maybe we don't need an issue for that now. If we do, we'll make one later. But we will want them to be unique because people could comment multiple times. So I think we should reduce list of users to be unique. And then we will want to select a winner at random. Select a winner at random. And there are some other cool things we're going to do between these issues, and GitLab's Duo is really going to help us out to do this a lot faster. It sounds like a lot of work, but stay tuned. We will get through this really fast. So next, if you're following along, make sure you go to VS Code's marketplace or any IDE that you're using and search for GitLab workflow. And you can see here, I've already got it installed, but hit install and it will ask you to sign in with your GitLab. And then on the left, you will get 2 extra tabs. You'll have GitLab workflow, and the one we'll be using today is GitLab Duo Chat. Let's click on GitLab Duo Chat and let's ask it how to get started creating a Next.js project. How do I create a Next.js project with the latest version? Perfect. Let me bring up my terminal. I will move it to the right here so we can see. So let's follow the instructions. npx create next app latest, hit enter, and we'll follow the on-screen instructions. So we called the project giveaway video. Let's do the same, giveaway video. We won't use TypeScript this time. We will use ESLint, we will use Tailwind, we will use the source directory, and we will use the new app router. And no, we don't want to customize any imports. Next.js will do its thing, and then we'll follow the next command that it says in GitLab's Duo. Now Next.js has finished running the command. It is asking me for my password. You won't get this. I get this because I sign my git commits with GPG keys. And hopefully I get my password right this time. Here we go. Following the GitLab's Duo chat, it said to navigate into the directory we just created. And then it said to run npm run dev. And we can just make sure the project is working. It says navigate to localhost 3000. So if we go to localhost 3000, our project is running. So actually, we can close off that issue. Create Next.js project. I think we can close it off. It is now done. Complete. Comment and close. So we had 5, and now we are down to 4. Let's remove some of the Next.js default code so we can open VS Code of our project. And let's open page, and let's remove a lot of this default code. And we can do hello world that we're all familiar with. So now we want to query GitLab's API. But let's see if GitLab's Duo code suggestion can do it for us. Let's put in a comment. Call GitLab's API to get a list of comments on an issue. Use fetch. Let's accept that with the tab key. That looks good. I'm just going to put an async in front of the function. And then we all have different styles of coding. So I am going to change this to an await because I do prefer an await. If I hit save, it will just format it correctly. And so this looks really good because not only are we calling GitLab's API and that's been written for us, it's even saying you need to put your private token here. But even lower down where it calls the function, it says replace this with an actual issue ID. So it's got an issue ID there as a placeholder, but it's telling us with a comment that, remember, you need to put your own one here. So let's go through this. Let's talk about a bit about GitLab's API. Let's talk about how you can get the issue number and how you can get your private token and where you should put it, because you don't really want to put it in here. We want to put it in an environment variable. Let's talk a bit about GitLab's REST API. You can query any data that you want, which I think is excellent. And they've got great curl examples, so you can try this straight on the command line. And they also have so many different ways that you can authenticate. We're going to authenticate with a personal access token, but you could also use OAuth or project access token, group access token. There's like a lot of different ways. So do have a look at this. And if you're logging in with OAuth, you can then use the user's token that's just logged in to authenticate as well. So you can actually get specific data for that user that is logged in. So there's lots of ways to do that. Go check out their API documentation. As you can see on this request, we do need to get the project ID, and we get this by going to the project. So here, this is the issue we're going to want to get all the comments from, because this is actually from the live stream. If we go to the project itself, then you will see there is 3 dots for a drop down. You can click copy project ID, and I'm going to hard code that straight into this URL. We could make this more flexible in the future. And then next we need the issue ID. So if we go back to the issue, as you can see, this is the GitLab swag giveaway, and the issue number is right at the top, and it's issue number 1. So we can just put number 1 for that. Now next is the trickier part, but it's not that scary at all. Let me show you. So your private access token. So you can go to your profile, and by clicking on profile, and then you can click on edit profile, and then down the left you have got access tokens, and here you can add a new token. You can give it a token name, you can even add an expiry date, and you can give it the permissions that you want. Remember, give it less permissions, and if you need more, add more later, rather than give it everything and take things away, because that will never happen. Then you can click create, and it will give you the value of the token. And you would put that here and it would work, but I don't recommend doing that. I recommend putting it in a .env file, and then we can request that here by using process.env, and the name, we can call that GitLab token. And then, like I said, we will create a new file. We'll call it .env, and in there we'll give it the exact same name. So I'm going to copy that, paste, and put equals. And I'm going to fill that in off camera. But we know that when I run this project, it will pull in that value from that file. You never commit your .env file. And it's actually good practice to make a copy of this and call it env.example. So therefore people know what environment variables are required to make that project work. So when I do commit and push this up to the GitLab repo, .env will not exist, but someone will know that they need to copy .env.example and rename it to .env. And that way they can fill in the right parameters. So this one I can leave open, the example I can leave open, but I am going to close the .env because that will have my private data on there. And remember, treat tokens like your password. So that looks good, but let's just check we're getting the right data. So what I'm going to do is create a const called data, and we're going to save the comments to that, and then we'll just console log the data. Yes, we do want to display it on the screen, but we'll get to that in a moment. The project is running, and so it's already kind of reloaded the page. Nothing has changed on the page. It still says hello world. But if we go to the terminal, you can see these are all the comments from the project. And the latest one is at the top, and it says duplicate message test. And if we actually go to the issue, we will see the latest one was duplicate message test by me. So that looks really good. So let's actually get that displaying. So I'm going to delete the console log, and I'm going to change this to a list. And GitLab Duo has already making some suggestion for us. So it knows we've done a UL for a list, and it's suggesting that we loop over the comments and display the body. And that will work. But actually, in this situation, we don't want the body, we don't want this part, we actually want this part. We want author, then name. So I'm just going to change that to author.name, hit save. And now if we go back to the browser and go to localhost 3000, you can see these are all the names from that issue, from people that have commented. But it does also include system changes. So if I scroll down a little bit, and it will say system true, and it will say title was changed from this to that, and it was by me, because if I go to the issue itself, you'll see that it logs those titles changed. Here we go, by me. So we don't want those, we want to exclude those. So we need to refactor it, so therefore it excludes any system changes and only includes one's system false. So there's different ways we could actually filter out that, but I want to try the refactor command on GitLab Duo. So I'm going to highlight the code that I want refactored, and I'm going to say refactor, and I'm going to give it some instructions. I want to say please, because I always say please and thank you. Exclude system true data from the list. And we've got quite a nice result here. So it's given us the code on what to do. This is how you filter it out. And it's also giving us an alternative, which I really, really like. It shows another way to do things, because there's multiple ways to do the same thing. But I like this first way, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm just going to paste it over the top. And if I hit save, and it's even put comments in for us. So it's going to filter out the system comment, which is great. So let's go back to the page and have a look. Hit refresh, you can now see the number has reduced a lot because it hasn't got all the title changes that had me listed. So it seems like we're on the right track, and it's looking a lot better. Do let me know in the comments below how you would have refactored that to filter out those changes. I think we can make that list look a bit better. So let's ask Duo to refactor that for us. Refactor, use Tailwind CSS to improve the styling. So GitLab Duo has come up with a lot of results, which looks great. So it's saying you want to refactor the li elements, which is true. So I like how it's really focused on that. And then it goes into more details on how the existing file looks. And I really like this. This is great. But I'm going to, just for the sake of time, I'm going to cut a few corners, and I'm going to, what most of us will probably do is copy and paste it. So let's copy and paste it, and I want to replace the list. So let me hit save, and it looks like what it's done is it's added an image, which is great. It's going to use the avatar URL and name, and then it's going to use the name here as well. So the name up here is for the alt text of the image, so it's not going to be visual, but it's good for accessibility. And then this is what will be visual here. So let's hit save, and let's just go to the page and have a look. Now that looked a lot better than it did before. We've actually got people's profile pictures from GitLab's API. I think that's brilliant. So well done, GitLab Duo. Because I wasn't even going to do that, to be honest. I was going to be happy if it just put a border around it. Although this list looks great, we do have duplicates on the list. So we actually want to remove any duplicates. So everyone is unique on the list. That makes the competition fair for everyone. So I've purposely commented multiple times on the issue. So therefore I appear more than once. But we want a way to remove those duplicates. I can see a few ways to do this, and let's see what GitLab Duo comes up with. So it's done a filter for system comments. Okay, so I can remove that one out from down here. And we will want to change this data to be unique authors as well. And then there's a map for the author, and it filters out any duplicates. We can always do an explain. So let's highlight this and let's have a look. Explain. So GitLab Duo has given us a great explanation here. It talks about the filter and saying it's a good way to remove duplicates from the array. And it says in this case, so it's really specific. It's not just going to say the documentation. It's the ID of the author. And it goes down to break it down into each actual section, which I think is brilliant. But I'll let you read that and let me know how you would do this. Would you use a reduce or would you do something else? Let's hit save and let's go have a look at how the results are. The data structure has changed slightly because we have now got the author rather than just the comment containing the author. So we do want to change this slightly. So we need to change this. So this is now the author rather than the comment. We actually don't need the comment. We just want the unique authors. So this would then be an author. And here it would be author avatar, URL, and then author name. And then same here as well. So if we hit save, let's have a look. So that looks really good now. It looks really nice how it was designed before, but not only that is it's unique. I only appear once, which is perfect. And as it's going to be randomly selected, it doesn't really matter which order we appear in. It's going to be random, and we're going to be doing that next. So now we want to select a winner at random from this unique list. So let's put in another comment for GitLab Duo. Select random winner from unique list of authors. And that looks really good. We have the array of unique authors, and then in there we have a math random, which is multiplied by the length of authors. But remember, if you have an array of 5 items, it's 0 to 4. So therefore we then wrap that in a floor to make sure that the random number is always 0 to 4. Otherwise, we could get an item that doesn't exist in the array. And that's the random winner. And let's do a console log and let's save that, and we can refresh the page and have a look. So nothing will change on the page, but we can go to the terminal and let me clear that and start again, because there are 2 there, but I know there's only 1 selected, but it got hot reloaded by Next.js and then I refreshed the page. So let's just start again and make sure. So I've refreshed it once and we've got 1 winner, we've got Michael. If I refresh it again, we'll have someone else. So we have Deepak, I refresh it again. Again, you can see it's picking people at random. So this is great. So I've removed the console log, and next we want it to be displayed visually. So let's put in another comment, or let's use a refactor. So I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to say refactor, use Tailwind to highlight the random winner in the list of authors. Already seeing this looks really good. I saw a condition in there, so let's have a look. And it explains what it's done as well. But just to save time, I'm going to go straight to the code and have a look what it's done. So what it looks like it's done is added some Tailwind CSS to the list item if it matches the author ID to the winner ID, which is the author ID as well, but in the variable random winner. So let's have a look at what we've got. So at the moment here, we have already some Tailwind CSS, and it's changing the background by the looks of it. So let's have a go. So I'm going to just make this onto, delete that, put it onto a new line, and then paste it in and save, and the IDE will automatically reformat it. We can have a look. So these are the styles that will happen to all the list items. And if the author is matched, it will use these 2 classes. So it'll have a background green 200 and text green 800. And if it's not the winner, it would have a background gray 100. Let's just hit save and have a look. That looks great, but let me refresh it and make sure it changes. And it is picking someone at random. Look at that. That is brilliant, actually highlighting the winner. But don't worry, there is more. As I mentioned, I think we can do one better. I think we could add a bit of a timer. So rather than refreshing the page and immediately it picks a winner, let's see if we can create a bit of suspense, like that spinning wheel. Maybe we could wait 10 seconds and it randomly picks people in that 10 seconds. But in the final kind of random selection, that's the winner. Let's see what we can do. So I'm going to highlight this whole page, all the code we've written so far. And I'm going to ask Duo to refactor it. Let's see, what can we write? Let's be really specific. Iterate through people, no, through authors. Iterate through authors for randomly for 10 seconds, then select a winner and select one winner. Let's see what it comes up with. I think we're gonna have to move some of the code around because we probably have to use maybe a use effect for this with a set timeout, and would want the server-side component to stay as a server-side component. So let's see what it comes up with. We might need to do a bit of refactoring first, otherwise there might be just too much going on. And I can see a React use effect in there as well. And I can see a clear timeout, clear interval. This is looking promising. Okay, it hasn't split it out into multiple files. I didn't think it would. So I might start doing that for my own sanity. I mean, how would you split this out? So what I think we could do is we could move the list into a component. So let's have a look. If we create a new folder and we say components, and then in here, I think we could add a component for authors. And if we go back to the page, and we could grab this, because then we could paste this here, and this would be authors. And so authors will come in as a prop, and then we'll map over those, and we will want to return that. And then in page, we can return the authors component, and we will pass in authors, and we can see it's auto completing for us. So it's selecting the random winner. I think we want to move the random winner also to the component. What do you think? I'll give you a moment to write a comment below. I think we move the random to the list. So in the page, we make the request to the API to get the list of comments, and then we do remove the system comments, and we also filter out the uniqueness here, I think. But I think the random we should move to the components. Let's do that. So in here we can say this is the random one, and you can see we actually need the information here, but we could have passed it through as a prop, but I like having this in one place. So in theory, this now I think should work as before. Let's check. In this scope, it's just authors because they are unique already. Missed one more as well. Here we go. So if I refresh it, you can see it's picking a different person each time. So we're still where we are, but I think now we can have a bit more separation. And although Duo did a great job before, it'd be really good to have maybe less code given to Duo. And then when it gives us generated code back, it's a bit more specific. So let's try that. So I'm going to highlight that again, and I'm going to clear here. And let's just say refactor, loop through random authors for 10 seconds and display them as orange, then select one winner and highlight. Okay, use effect, that looks good. It's got a constant random author, as I saw, which looked really good, and a clear timeout. Okay, let it finish, and then we'll have a look at the final. I think this looks really good. This makes it a bit wider. So what it's going to do is going to use a use effect, and it's going to every 100 milliseconds select a new random person. Okay, brilliant. And then after 10 seconds, it's going to clear the interval and it's going to set a winner. I think that's actually going to work really well. And it's got a nested ternary, which I'm not a huge fan of nested ternaries, but it will work. We can get it working. We can refactor it further later and again, be more specific. And that looks really good. I don't even think I need to kind of copy and paste any small parts out. I think we can just take the whole lot. Let's give that a go. What do you think? So if I paste, hit save, and you can see my plugins are highlighting these colors. So we have got orange and red, and we have got green. I need to convert the component into a client because we are using useEffect. So we can say use client. And look at that. I'm not refreshing it. It's spinning orange. And then it should, in about 10 seconds or maybe 5 seconds now, select a green winner. And it has, and that's great. But it did leave the orange person there. So there is still a bit more work to do, but that's like 99% of the way there. Again, I hit refresh and I'm not touching it. And it's jumping up and down randomly between users every 100 milliseconds. And then after 10 seconds, it's going to pick a winner, and it has, but it's not clear in the orange. So we need to look into that next. So what I think we can do is in the set timeout, when it selects the winner, I think we just need to clear the random user. So we can say, and you can see GitLab Duo is automatically saying set random author null. So if I hit tab, accept that, hit save, let's go to the browser and refresh. So it's doing the random users as orange. And when it hits the winner, green, the orange should disappear. About 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. See, the orange has now disappeared and we've got a winner. So that looks really good. I'm really impressed with that. I feel that we've got a better app than what I thought I was going to do. And also it was a lot easier to do it with the help of GitLab Duo. GitLab Duo is such a great way for me as a developer to be more efficient and move at a quicker pace. I've only used a few features from GitLab Duo in this video, and I know I'll be using more. I would love to see what you're building using Duo, so don't forget to click on the link in the description below and start today.